Oh, geez. Don't mind if I take a sip of drink?
Go ahead. Drink it in.
First of all, I'll just go ahead and say how extremely proud I am of our university, our football program. To come in here and do something probably only the 108, 109 players that we have on our roster believe we could do. I don't know if anybody else in the country believed it, had any doubt that a program of just a mere 10 years old could come in here, Neyland Stadium, University of Tennessee, and beat them. But we believed. I mean, August 1st, there wasn't any sign that we didn't believe in our confidence and believe in ourselves to do things that's never been done before. We were well coached. Our strength conditioning was, I thought, was outstanding. It was telling on the football field who was in better shape, and we notched a signature win for our university and our football program. It was an unbelievable day. I'm so proud of our guys and our players because ultimately they worked so hard to do the things necessary to put us in a position to even go and compete. The weights, the practices. I mean, you hear us coaching, and most of the time us coaches, we're all belly aching and bitching and griping, and we can do more in this, we need to do better in that. And today it was just icing on the cake. I mean, it really was. It was a joy to sit back and watch and see the confidence in our guys' eyes and our guys' hearts. You could see it just continue to pump in the second half as we took that drive down and scored. It was, almost at that point, I hate to say there was a feeling in the game, but I almost saw them spit the bit out when that score went in. I saw a lot of heads dragging, and I'm big in demeanor and what teams look like. And I think when we notched that score, there was a little kink that just snapped off their armor, and it started putting doubt in their mind, and it just steamrolled from there. But I'd love to answer any questions. Yes.
So Espinosa from the Signal, you can obviously hear how much it means to your guys. Talk about how you guys went from 2-10 last season to where you are right now, beating Tennessee at Neyland Stadium.
Well, like I said, I mean, if you followed our football team, we went through a growth a year ago where we had to play some players that weren't ready to play. They didn't know how to compete. They had just come off a high school football team, and they were going up against some individuals that were very good football players, and they had been stroked on the back for a number of years and told how great they are, but when adversity hit, they didn't know how to handle it because they hadn't been through an off season. They hadn't had to struggle and suffer and go through those pains, and we went through those pains. There's one thing about a football team: you are what your record says you are, and we were 2-10 for a long time in the off season, and I won't say we never let them forget it, and they never forgot it. So when we went out there and practiced, we knew exactly what we were practicing for. Now that doesn't mean we're fixing to go off and make a run, but it was sure evident today that they had that in their back pocket and they remembered every minute of last season's heartaches.
Coach, and friend with the Atlanta boys, last season I know you talked about growth and a lot of things you needed to recuperate your defense, but today your defense came up big just from the forced fumbles to the recovered fumbles. Can you just talk about your defense in this game and just how far they've came since last season?
I mean, it's very evident. If you watch that game out there, you saw some pressure on the quarterback. You saw turnovers being created. You saw confidence in them, in their ability to line up and play against some very good football players with Tennessee. There's no doubt about it. Tennessee's got an abundance of talent over there. They do. They certainly do. But our guys had confidence. It's kind of what I mentioned. I mean, you don't go out and give up 38 points a year ago and feel good about it going through an off season. You hear about it every single day about stopping the run and where we got to improve and what we've got to do to become better. And they remember that. And our staff, our defensive staff, worked tirelessly to make sure those things didn't happen, and they sure didn't happen today. So I'm proud of our guys. Yes.
When you were vacated for Tennessee, what did you see about that program that made you feel like you could be successful
Well, I can tell you, I always look at the two lines of scrimmage. I told our guys, I said it's no secret we've got to go be better than them on the offensive line and defensive line, and that's certainly if I were to turn on the tape, that may be the glaring flaws to some degree for Tennessee. And I didn't know because I watched last season, but those are some of the things that we felt like we could control. We felt like, not that we were going to go dominate the line of scrimmage by any stretch, but I thought we had quickness in our defensive line to give their offensive line some problems, and I thought we could push them a little bit with our offensive line. We try to keep things very, very simple for our guys up front, and for the most part, they did exactly what we thought we could do. They went out and executed, and at times I felt like we could have probably ran the same play over and over again. And if you go back and watch it, we probably did a number of times. But the two lines of scrimmage in any football contest are going to be the telling point of who's going to win and lose that football game. And our two lines of scrimmage played well today.
Coach, can you talk about the sequence?
Oh, I'm sorry.
They sack fumble, and then they come in, you hold them to a field goal, and then you get the sack. How key was that for you to answer like that?
It's amazing. Game of momentum. I mean, very, very fortunate. We just come off the sideline. I told Dan, I said, Dan, listen, we're right here where we need to be. Let's don't do anything foolish. Just secure the football. And what we did right there, we held a little bit long. They strip sacked us right there, did a great job on their rush, and go down there and hold them to a field goal. That was big for us, really, really big for us. To tell you the truth, I think they got away with a little bit of time there at the end because they ran one play and they took a second off the clock, and I was like, you got to be kidding me. But that was a great momentum swing. And then we come into the locker room, and man, we're bebopping around, we're focused, and you see in our eyes, if you looked in our guys' eyes, I think you could just see what we were fixing to go out and do, and that's the joy of sports. You get to look in a man's eye and see exactly what they're thinking. I mean, I could tell you exactly the thoughts going through their mind when we took the field.
How were y'all able to get this team to believe, coming off 7 games good last season, how were y'all able to get this team to believe they could do what they did?
Well, I'll say this, they're two totally different teams. I mean, you don't put a lot of stuff into it. You remind them of what happened a year ago, but this is a totally different team with different leaders, with guys that have done different things. We identified our leaders back in the spring, and they were strong leaders, and that carried over through the summer. And then when we voted for the captains, it was very, very the consistency in who was at the forefront. When guys talked about our leadership, I knew right then and there that we had something going.
What does it mean for this program to be a Power 5 team for the first time? Just because of the developments.
Like I said, Georgia State University, and we're 10 years old. 10 years old. We just did something a lot of teams could never do. I'm telling you, Tennessee's going to go win. They're going to win games this year. I can assure you that. But for our football program to come in here and nobody thought we could do anything, nobody thought we had a chance other than the guys in that locker room that held hands right before and took a knee and talked to one another and looked each other in the face. We knew it. It means the world to our university, our football program.
Coach, I did want to point something out. I know you do a lot of preparation going into these games. But I know something that was prominent around your practice was playing Rocky Top every day out loud. You wanted to annoy them about it. You wanted them to get the song in their head. And I saw coming into the game that they were vibing to the song, even knowing it. Do you feel that in turn ultimately helped them prepare for this environment, for this situation?
We kept the environment in bay all game long. It wasn't anything that was intimidating, to tell you the truth. If you play them close, those fans tend to react the way you want them to react. If you keep them on their toes. But we did play the song. It's a catchy tune. I mean, I like it. I like it, to tell you the truth. And I just thought we'd annoy our players a little bit by playing it. It paid off dividends. They didn't hear it too much today.
Coach, you were a part of what many would probably say the biggest win in Georgia State football history, a bowl win against Western Kentucky. Where do you rank this game?
Second. I just want you to understand, to win that first bowl game in school history is something, it's very, very special. We hoisted a trophy. We played in the postseason. In my 23 years of coaching, that will probably be one of the number one. It may be the top of the list and victories for myself in my career. But as far as a football program, this is probably a close second to that one. I mean, but I like hoisting that trophy. You know, we don't get anything for winning this game. We don't get anything. Maybe a pat on the back. 3 weeks, people have forgotten about what we've done.
But you were also part of that kind of out-of-state Michigan set. Is that something you talked to about your team this week?
Two totally different scenarios. We had 63 scholarships going up to play the Michigan Wolverines with 85. We walked in here with 83 scholarships. They possibly had 85. I'm not sure. So, you know, we were on an even scale, so to speak, with this team. I didn't talk about it whatsoever. Didn't need to.
A few questions ago, you mentioned your captains, how you knew that the team was in the right hands. Can you speak on Dan Ellington and the character and poise he showed today?
Yeah, you know, Dan does it every single day of practice and meetings, whatever it may be in his preparation. He's exactly who you witnessed today, and you're going to remember Dan for that. You will. I tell these guys all the time, don't just watch it. I want you to witness it, because therefore you're going to remember it. I'm going to remember Dan Ellington for the rest of my life because of who he stands for, how he practices, the way he was raised, how he treats people, and then his play on the football field may be the last thing that I remember him for. He's a special individual, a really, really special individual, and I'm proud to be his head football coach.
Coach, how do you bring this momentum into the next game?
You know, well, certainly it's going to help. It's going to help. Now, this thing can go one or two ways. We can go and we can stroke each other on the back and tell us how great we are, and not go prepare like we need to prepare, and let this thing slap us in the face next week. So these guys, rightfully so, need to go and enjoy this victory, and they need to. They've done something today that, like I said, no one thought we could do other than us in that locker room. So they need to enjoy it. But come Monday, on Great Labor Day, I'm going to have the scowl right there on my face, and I'm going to be griping and complaining, and we're going to run, and we're going to practice, and I'm going to bellyache about missed tackles, and I'm going to talk about this and that, and we're going to get focused to go play Furman next Saturday night at our place at 7 o'clock. And it should be a good environment. If this doesn't get you excited about Georgia State University football, I don't know what does. City of Atlanta needs to show up next week.
May I ask your coach?
Coach, are these kind of games important to you, being able to play big Power 5 programs? I mean, a lot of people look at this as kind of like a pay to play, since Tennessee is going to pay the university. Is it important for your program to continue to play these big names?
I can tell you one thing. Georgia State University will be seen across the country numerous times today and tonight. All through tomorrow. They'll be talked about for the next 4 and 5 days. What it's done for our football program is from a publicity standpoint, from a recruiting standpoint. Yeah, when you can go out and beat them, it pays huge, huge dividends. And we're going to see it pay off for us. So playing these games are certainly beneficial. Now, at times, you know, it's hard to go out and defeat these teams year in and year out. It certainly is. But this one right here is going to pay off for a long time.